こちらはスリランカさんです。
はじめまして。私はスウェーです。どうぞよろしく。
こちらはマジッドさんです。
はじめまして。私がちゃうんで。
こちらはさんです。はじめまして。私は大家です。
マレーシアのシティホールアバンギョサチョです。
六本木です。どうぞよろしくお願いします。
はじめまして。私はゾウシティホールでしたの。はじめまして。私はゾウシティホールです。はじめまして。私はマレーシアのシティホールのゾウキンディです。
Kawasan satu lagi saksi.
はじめまして。私はシティホールマレーシアのです。
私はkawasan私はマレーシアのシティホールのコロンボの
はじめまして。
kawasan satu lagi
マレーシアのシティホールの
はじめまして。私はのどうぞ。
私はマレーシアシティホールの
私は
kawasan satu lagi
私は六本木のどうぞ。
マレーシアのシティホールのコロンボのkawasan satu lagi
どうぞよ。
私はマレーシアのシティホールのコロンボのkawasan satu
どうぞよろしく。はじめまして。私はツイです。六本木のどうぞよろしく。
私はこうです。どうぞどうぞ。
私はワンです。どうぞよろしく。私はダラです。どうぞ。
私はスブラです。どうぞよろしく。はじめまして。私はワンです。どうぞよろしく。
はじめまして。はじめまして。私はゴアンです。どうぞよろしく。
はじめまして。松子です。どうぞよろしく。こちらはグループリーダーアバンジョー・サラさんで。
はじめまして。マレーシアのアバンジョサラ
です。どうぞよろしく。
はじめまして、日本人のマツコです。
はい。
こちらはジェルディンさんです。
こんにちは。どうぞ。はじめまして。マツコです。どうぞよろしく。
こちらはスンドゥンさんです。
して日本人マツコです。どうぞよろしく。ありがとうございます。こんにちは。すみません。
こちらはワンさんです。
はじめまして。私はワンです。どうぞよろしく。
はじめまして、マツコです。どうぞよろしく。ありがとう。
こちら中輪さんです。どうぞよろしく。
はじめまして。私はワンです。どうぞよろしく。こちらはグループリーダーアバンジョサラさんです。
はじめまして。私は中澤です。どうぞよろしく。
はい。はじめまして。マレーシアのアバンジョさん。どうぞよろしく。
どうぞ。
こちらはジェルディンさんです。
はじめまして。私は中澤です。どうぞよろしく。どうぞ。
こちらはスンドゥンさんです。
はじめまして。私は中澤です。どうぞよろしく。
はじめまして、スンドンです。どうぞよろしく。
こちらはワンさんです。
はじめまして。私はワンです。どうぞよろしく。ありがとう。
はじめまして。
こちら。
どうぞよろしく。こちらはグループリーダーアマンジョサラさんです。
はじめまして。マレーシアのアバンジョサラです。どうぞよろしく。ありがとう。
こちらはジェルディンさんです。こちらはスンドゥンさんです。
はじめまして、スンドンさん、スンドンです。どうぞよろしく。
はじめまして。西川です。どうぞ。
こちらはワンさんです。
はじめまして。私はワンです。どうぞよろしく。
はじめまして。どうぞ。
ありがとう。
こちらはミチコです。
はじめました。私はワンです。よろしく。はじめまして。ミチコです。どうぞよろしく。こちらはグループリーダーアバンジョサラさんです。
こんにちは。はじめまして。マレーシアのアバンジョサラです。どうぞよろしく。
はじめまして。ミチコです。どうぞよろしく。こちらはジェルディンさんです。はじめまして。ミチコです。どうぞよろしく。 ちらはスンルンさんです。
はじめまして、スンルンです。どうぞよろしく。は
じめまして、みちこです。どうぞよろしく。こちらはワンさんです。
はじめまして。私はワンです。どうぞよろしく。
はじめまして。みちこです。
Two ministers will be here to attend the East Asia Economic Conference meeting on the next day, and this will enhance the gala night. We are also very happy to note that Japan is also one of the members of the caucus. On this note, we hope that your good self and will help to contribute to the success of the gala night. Thank you.
That means this is just for one night?
Yes.
Have you started already?
Yes.
Started, isn't it? Continue, please.
It is a concert. Basically, the concert, which will be maybe my deputy director would like to answer the question.
Okay. The concert will be held just for one night. The proceeds of the concert will go to all the organizations mentioned just now. For details of this financial arrangement, my financial director, Mr. Zhu, will give us some details.
Konnichiwa. Sumimasen. Ego de ogenemashimasu. Allow me to speak in English, ladies and gentlemen. First and foremost, I would like to thank the director of the Roppongi Promoters Incorporation of Japan for being very kind and humble enough to wait for us to have this honorable meeting this afternoon, specifically to discuss on the possible contract of the most highly respectable singer from Japan, Ms. Matahari Ichikawa. Now, as what we have gone through the profiles of the Matahari Ichikawa, with a very versatile singer, a very well-known and very upcoming singer of the region currently, and of late she's been very promising to few other companies on certain occasions where she has been invited. And of course, in line of that, with the impressive profiles of such a singer, and in the occasion of this Malam Perdana Gala Night, which was known, which is supposed to be graced by His Majesty the King, and to be in attendance of few other cabinet ministers of the East Asian Economic Caucus, which is supposed to be held on the following day of the concert, and as well as the diplomatic representatives of other countries, as well as the other diplomats on invitations to the concert. And as such, we would very much to have this singer Matahari Ichikawa to have our main singer for that night. And with the presence of the other counterparts, particularly with the EAEC's members, whereby from the promise of the Japan's government to play a leading role in this EAEC's caucus, and as well as this concert is concerned. And for your information, ladies and gentlemen of the Roppongi Incorporation, we have 4 in line, which are very giant companies who are supposed to sponsor this concert, which are very handsome sponsorships, provided we have this singer Matahari Ichikawa. which we here agreed very much to have her to present on this concern. So we are, in fact, the proceeds of these sales will go to the 3 welfare foundations as what been laid down on the transparency just now. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, as what you can see, this is more of a charitable concern. It's non-profitable concern. Whatever proceeds of the night will go to the 3 foundations. So having that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, we have in mind to make up a collection for the night of at least 400,000 in order to equally divide for the 3 organizations, and as well as should there be any surplus from the sum, will go to other charitable organizations by the Mayor of Kuala Lumpur himself. So we would like very much, with your humble corporations from the Roppongai Entertainment Incorporation, to assist us in getting this singer Matahari Ichikawa to perform on this particular night and to make this night a successful one. And we have in mind, of course, for the trouble that she might take for the journey and for the expenditures in Kuala Lumpur, should there be an agreement at a later stage, come up with a sum of 40,000 US as a token for
sightseeing or shopping, and also if she needs anything at all, our delegates here, most of our employees will be at her service at any time at all.
That Hari will not be able to come only alone. She usually travel with entourage of orchestra and her personal maid, her makeup artist, her hairdresser, and so there will be quite a number of people that need to accompany her besides her husband. The offer that you have is only for 2 persons, so we do need to have at least about 20 people.
How many piece orchestra are we talking about, including the maids? How many maids?
16-piece orchestra.
16-piece orchestra, maids, as in 1 manager,
1 SR,
and 1 personal maid, as in a butler.
She attends to her.
Okay, is like this maid living with her or something? Because at the Shangri-La they do provide personalized butler, 24 hours butler service. They are at her needs at any time, and also at anything at all. Requirements can be done through our butler service, so we can arrange with the hotel to accommodate.
That will be Miss Ichikawa used to her own personal maid in her own time, who's used to her personal needs and attend her very well.
We have a lot of talented musicians here in Malaysia itself that we believe can Ichikawa can make use of.
I agree with my partner, because during the last visit to Kuala Lumpur or Malaysia, she was being provided by our Malaysian Institute. We can prepare for that.
That will be very good. Then, but we will have a minimum of 5 people.
5 people from
To accompany her.
That is her husband, the makeup artist,
The hairstylist.
the hairstylist, the manager, and the maid. Okay, so the orchestra has been, we can provide the orchestra for her.
I believe that shouldn't be a problem for us because we have sponsors. We might not be able to give 20 places accommodations, but we'll be able to give 5.
Maybe know how many days is the concert.
Well, the concert is only for 1 night, charity night, on the night of 1st. So we are able to plug it in, say,
on the 30th so that she can get around with the new orchestra. And to rehearse, we will provide concert halls and everything. And also check out maybe from home before so that she could go shopping.
Maybe know what sort of promotion you are going to give for this concert. Are you going to have press release, TV coverage of the concert,
Yes, it's more prepared for because it will be the occasion where the king, so we,
so your national television will be covering the
it will
event.
be covering.
For Miss Ichikawa, her daily expense will be $30,000 US a day.
30,000, which will cover what expenses? Because we will be providing her with meals and accommodation plus transportation.
That is a professional fee for the cover, yes, cover of the costume, the performance, entourage, people.
But the entourage, I understand, will not.
Well, she has to pay her the fees for her, the agents and her, the maid that has like something on her personal account. So, she has to make a consignment for her. So her requirement is about $30,000 per day.
30,000. That is only for those 4 fees only, nothing for her. She'll be performing free of charge.
No.
Is this inclusive in this charge itself?
In this charge for every day that she's there. I believe. But for the total, if it is plus professional fees and everything.
Total. But we also understand that she has not been performing for some years. And then the reason that we are offering 35,000 only is not to belittle Miss Ichikawa, but there's a lot of things Roppongi can achieve by actually taking up this offer, because in the 4 days you are here, we are going to give you a lot of free publicity that is not applicable for only that 4 days. You might subsequently find a lot of other offers or deals that come in as it goes on, as a long-term effect on these media freedom support in Malaysia. If that cost is factored in, then I say the package that we are offering itself might be several $100,000. The 35 is just a nominal sum that we are offering. But the package, when you take into consideration all the accommodation, the publicity, the kind of opportunity that we are opening up for Miss Ichikawa, will come to several $100,000. I hope your man can actually consider these other invisible packages that they are offering to you. However, as we can understand, Miss Ichikawa is a very famous artist, and when she performs, she must be the best. And although she has not been in the limelight for many years due to her own personal reasons, she is still, I can assure you, one of the best performers we have in Japan to offer to Malaysia.
Singer, who is a Japanese, of course, with her profile. She was once in Malaysia, and she was the one who initiates the song Kenali Malaysia, Sayangi Malaysia, which is the subject matter of our PM, our Prime Minister. So we would like very, very much for her to be in our country Kuala Lumpur in particular, to perform for this Perdana Gala night. With your blessings, ladies and gentlemen. We don't talk about money. We are talking about charity. We are here, we flown down from KL all the way to Tokyo for the purpose of charity, not for money.
How much, may I know how much you intend to raise? What is your target, your goal?
Well, our goal for this particular night, within the range of 400 to 500 US thousand. With that amount, we would be able to split up equally to these 3 organizations, and as well as if at all there are any surplus, then we might siphon to any other charitable welfare organizations for a good cause.
So if you ask for 400,000, like what you said just now, there's no way we can have a charity and then give money to charity because there's no money left.
So the 400,000 is only the gate fees that you'll be collecting, right?
Exactly.
So no doubt the Gala night is for the charitable purpose. But as you know, our Matahari is highly it's known almost throughout the world, which is a special singer to us, you, and then just now you offer us the 40,000 US, which to us, the first offer 40,000 US. That amount is not enough to cover her fee. That amount not enough to cover according to what she's getting now. So we might expect a little bit more with her fee, with other charges, expenses. So the amount should be higher than what we have suggested at the beginning.
Maybe Matahari Ishikawa, is she aware that this Perdana Gala night will be also graced by very important people in the country, as well as cabinet members of the East Asia and the Pacific region? This is also something I think maybe we should take into consideration. It is one of the most prestigious functions that we will be having in Malaysia.
No, excuse me, she has been performing in various countries for years. So many countries that I've mentioned. But she wants from us, we have to pay her more than what? More than 40,000. So I hope if you can raise a little bit higher, we will consider.
Ladies and gentlemen, from our records, she was in Malaysia for 8 years, from 1972 up to 1990. For 17 years. 7 years she was in Malaysia. So the popularity of her is also involved in Malaysia. So not all. Also Malaysia also giving the name to her.
Sumimasen, ladies and gentlemen, just to enlighten you, no doubt, this singer Matahari Ishikawa had made a very good name and high profile of her professions way back in 1966. But somehow or other, from the year 1991 as to date, no one knows what's happening to her. And we have on our records to say that she had gone on a medical treatment in the year 1991. And ever since that, nobody seems to know. There was no new records release. There was no acting. There was no any improvement on her whatsoever ever since then. So, if you were to shoot up the amount to 400,000 in 1991, we might be able to compromise with you. But bearing in mind, ladies and gentlemen, this is 1995 now. And she has been on the silence for the past 5 years.
Yes, she has still a very big support from the other countries in this region. Since the release of her album, she is still very popular among the youngsters all over Asia. So what we propose to you now maybe is for the advertising cost and the live recording of her at that show, all the proceeds, the advertising, the income from the show, the live show, which will be beamed throughout Asia. So those revenue, can we remain with us?
Suma Masen, that's what you have just mentioned, that over the past 5 years, way back from 1991, she was still in good form, she's still versatile, but her target groups, or rather the listeners, are all youngsters. Bearing in mind, this Perdana Gala Night, the patron night, will be patronized by people of higher standing. People who represent the government, the diplomatic representatives of the EAEC. So we have to bear in mind that the type of audience that we are going to have on that particular night, no youngsters will be around. This especially when the occasion will be graced by His Majesty the Tuan Agong. And we don't expect any youngsters, as what you have mentioned, could be the majority of her supporters. So here we have a different situation.
Now you see the audience in Asia.
No, the audience for the night.
Still a big audience. She still has a very big audience in Asia. So what we do is that at that particular night, maybe we will record it live and beam it through the satellite.
No, so we have made our homework. We have made research. For the past from the year 1991 as to date, she has not come up with any new albums. She's not come up with anything new.
Let's make this deal successful. How much can you push it up a bit so that the concert will be a successful in your country?
So we are prepared to raise another 5,000 US. That will make to 45,000 US. At the very most that we can go at the expense of this charity night. Because, ladies and gentlemen, again, I'd like to bear in mind that this is solely a charitable performance for the day. It's a non-profitable happening for the day, where not even a single cent will go to the funds of the Malaysia City Hall. Whatever collections for the night, whatever contributions for the night will go strictly to the 3 welfare organizations that we have just laid down on the transparency.
So, based on your collections,
all of that said, pasti we getting what she demanded. You have to meet this demand.
So besides this, you need to get the insurance of artists and can come to that. What activities do they take? Because their show may not be successful.
Yeah, right.
And then maybe they can help
You bring that one.
You bring it up after tea.
After that one, then we use our last joker. The last joker, we will use the last joker later on.
4:30 lah, after the night.
So basically,
Yamamoto-san really.
what is his, this one? Actually, his position in the company?
Public relations manager.
Oh, really? Public relations,
You can say that he mentioned that last night.
So ask them to find their own sponsor
But we
to
see,
cover up the
let's say, if it's negative, then we try and organize.
But if they are towards agreeing to her, and we will leave it at 35
Fine.
without
Yeah.
doing
or if there's any room for this one improvement, probably we'll raise up to
That one is the last time.
60 is the worst.
For round 3, that was round 3.
that is by 6 o'clock.
By 6
We don't
o'clock.
have any negotiation. Then we touch 60. Then the final offer. By 6 o'clock, if we can't touch.
After 5 is 60.
No, after 5 is still 55. Still remain as 55.
After 5
Okay, yeah, because we need half
we
an
just say,
hour to
okay, this is
negotiate. Our
final
final.
offer. Take it or leave it.
Okay, if they don't take it, then
So in other words, we
For the second night.
There's one show, we can even have 2 or 3 whether they can accommodate our request. So in other words, we still stick to our own price, but they can raise the money by ways of having more shows, more sharing shows instead of 1 month.
every rich then what tax items you offer? We do not have any new offers.
But we would like to hear from your side.
We like to hear.
Is it possible we can give suggestions?
Like that?
Instead of having one charity night show, possibly you can have more than one night. Through a way of extra nights, we should have possibly raise the extra fund to pay for the fees.
How many nights are we talking about?
Now we are just saying for, you see, the usual professional fee is $30,000 per concert.
30,000 US.
30,000 per concert. But we're considering that because this is a very special event per concert.
Okay, so how much now you're charging us for the fee for
So
a night?
it is 120,000 for the field, and then for every night extra, for every extra concert, 15,000.
Because now we are not negotiating on how many nights. We just want for only one single show.
This is the alternative we hope that you would like to consider, because as I say, since it's a charity night and you're not getting the money to be able to afford to pay Ms. Ichikawa, perhaps we have volunteered that Ms. Ichikawa can perform. Depends on how many concerts you feel you may require her to perform to be able to cover the professional fees. We are only asking for 15,000 per concert. So that's the basic cost.
Per concert or per night?
Per concert.
Now, you like to say the 120,000 is for the first night, that is for your fees, right? Okay, as you mentioned, 30,000 is per concert. That means she's expecting 30,000 from you. So that means 90,000 US dollars is in your profit for the night.
No. 90,000 is in the preparation. It is a basic that we need to cover for bringing her in and, for covering her expenses and her preparation for the concert.
But we have proposed that we take the expenses and we bring her in under our account, and it's the flight tickets, the accommodation, all by us.
This is not counting the flight and all that, otherwise it's 480,000.
480,000. Well, you proposed 480,000 just now with the 16-piece band.
Yes, that's
and you
right.
said you don't need a 16-piece band because we are agreeing to provide the 16-piece Japan. So does it still remain as 480,000?
Then it is 200,000.
22, that is 22,000?
No, 200,000. 200,000. We had told you if that was the same, we said 200,000. Then you did ask us for the very bottom line. And we did mention that, okay, for the very bottom line, which we are not considering profit for our company, just to cover basic cost, is 120,000. And since you did mention that because of the charity, you are restrained not to be able to raise the funds to cover bottom line professional fees, we are now suggesting perhaps you should consider having her perform to be able to collect 8 fees, to be able to pay up for the professional, so that we both come now at a agreement to be able to meet our professional fees, and you offer to raise the funds to meet the professional fees. And we are also willing to not consider profit for just additional funds. We are doing counting based on cost of 15,000 per month. So I think this is beyond our means, you know.
Yeah, because we are unable to get other concerts.
Susan, before we go further, just to recap on what is your request now, you are asking 120,000 flat fee, and then you are asking us 15,000 per concert, and we can additional per concert, and we can have as many concerts as we may like.
Yes, probably.
And then just to recap on our side, what we are proposing is we are proposing 35, and all accommodation from the moment she starts. From Japan to Malaysia, and all accommodations, whatever expenses in Malaysia, for 5 bank provided us, and all that, that's what we are proposing. But because you are a professional organization, and you are saying to us that 120 is not enough to cover your own professional expenses, you need additional funds. Actually, we have discussed something close to what we are proposing now. But because we are a public sector, we are unable to go and maybe arrange so many other concerts. It is not part of our requirements. But we have, I'm sure, what we can do is we will arrange this concert, which will provide all the publicity necessary for Miss Ichikawa. And what we can do is this 35K plus all the free publicity and all accommodation, air ticket, etc., provided by us. Then what we can do is you can discuss, we can introduce a few of our own professional organization in Malaysia that can arrange for the additional concert that you are proposing. And that can generate the kind of because the publicity that we have created can actually will be having some impression on the Malaysian public. They'll be interested to see Miss Ichikawa and several other concerts, maybe in our various beach resorts, maybe in Penang, in Langkawi, etc., etc.
The leave of the consideration that you're offering us, assuring us that there will be extra concerts at a certain minimum percentage or certain minimum income to us for the extra concerts that we can have, and also maybe some of the artists that we sign up with our company.
Because there are a lot of artists who are eager to go out of Malaysia and achieve the international level.
So maybe we can see what sort of assurance you can give us that it is assured that they are not, that given the opportunity to discuss, we do not only want opportunity, we want to be assured that these are in the
what we can assure you is we can assure you in an introduction to the artists.
Introduction to your label, that is your agent. See, I'm sure there will be interested parties.
Because we are a public sector, what we are offering is, because I'm sure in arranging the concert, talent agency works, Profomi is more professional than we are. Our professionalism in this area might be limited. Whereas for Profomi itself, we might even have affiliates in Malaysia. So you are in a better position to arrange for this. But nevertheless, we can give more publicity, and we can arrange also for the additional accommodation. You can get the sponsors for the accommodations, flights, and etc. But on the part of arranging the concerts itself, Profomi is in a better position.
for the additional concerts that is.
We can make the introduction like what Miss Kwan says.
Prior engagement is a bit difficult also for us to just break off other engagements without us giving some form of compensation, to the other party that has engaged her. So we hope that you also understand our situation here.
Yes, Sumimasen, we understand your situation or what you are going through. But again, times and again, let me remind you, with this Perdana Gala night, bearing in mind the patronage of this concert, the audience will be in attendance that particular night. And what the Japan is going to be looked at after this particular concert, this involves the image of your country. Whereas, if this Matahari Ikichawa had a prior engagement in any other contingent or any other components, these are all for money. Money is not everything, ladies and gentlemen. Money is not everything. But charity, which is something, a deed that you have to do in life, at least for once, make it a first time for her. There has to be a first time.
Sumimasen has explained by my colleague, to break her prior engagement will mean a lot of money as compensation. So we need that at least to compensate the other contracting party.
May I add here? I think Miss Matahari Ichikawa is no stranger to Malaysia. Having been in the country, in Malaysia for so many years, she would understand, I believe she would understand the charitable nature of the Malaysians. I will have to agree, we may not be able to compensate her in full for her services and her feelings during that gala night. But it would certainly be one that she can contribute and show off that the Malaysians are also very charitable. I believe the Japanese are also the same.
We appreciate your concerns on the collections for the various charitable organizations. But our company is not a charity organization. Please bear in mind. We will help in a way, but not to that extent to our expectation.
We are willing to foot the bill for her accommodation and to ensure that she has a good stay in Malaysia. Maybe to bring, if she wants to go back to memory lane, we can help. We will be willing to do that. But in terms of, I hope you understand, we are also restricted by the money that will be collected. We do not even take a single profit from this function. So the point here is the compensation is actually a token of our appreciation only.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I interrupt at this stage and suggest to up a bit in the sense that we allow you to televise this live outside Malaysia, this event, to the countries that you said originally engaged her. So you can televise it to that country, all the songs that she'll be singing. That will be something for your company.
And plus the advertising cost, advertising revenue as well.
What kind of advertising are you talking about?
In the live show, we will have advertisements. So the revenue from this.
But it must be outside Malaysia. This television cannot be shown in Malaysia because the dinner will be in Malaysia. You can televise it outside Malaysia, simultaneously. That will help your
that live televised or whatever that is televised outside.
Should cover your costs.
Not necessarily to cover our costs, but we are not sure whether the other party agree to that or not. Because the term and the condition given is not to have televised or whatever. They want her personally to be there. And apart from that, we understand charity, whatever it is. But we have other expenses to be borne. So I hope after our session at karaoke after this, so we can come to the agreement of the certain amount. So we willing to reduce a bit, and I hope your side also can to be considered.
Because at the life, you must be able to 3 years. You see, we have come from women from the profit until they must go home. And there's some bottom line sum given to you. And we have given you solution, you can think about it. You know, so that you can get the money too. When they get the money, pay us. Condition will be why don't we give one deposit?
Ini buat sikit apa nak? Oh, ada kait dengan sumo je. Dia ada samurai ya. Samurai. Dewa sumo. Sumo.
We cannot come to the agreement, we change them out. Give them the ticket. But Anita Sarawak, they perform. After her to sing 6 songs, we have already paid 40,000. 40,000 for your money, you need money. But when we were quite surprised when we put that 40,000 to the international singer.
So is that US?
Yes.
No, what we are talking now is a charity performance.
Yes, I know. We keep on mentioning charity. We know charity, but charity so we have something to live on. So if charity is nothing, so all the expenses to be borne.
Yeah. So that's what we have discussed earlier. We are willing to part with 45,000 US as a token of appreciation to this Matahari di Kicauan, plus the expenses to be borne by us. Expenses of her stays in Kuala Lumpur will be borne by us.
Yes, we know that amount, but that amount, as I mentioned, that's not enough to cover. It's not enough to cover our normal expenses. So if you consider risk a bit higher, and
Ladies and gentlemen, may I add something? Here we are not only talking about the professionalism. Matahari Chikawa is a very professional actress. But could you please consider our standard of living also? You are thinking of part of that.
Yes, we are talking about the cost and standard of living in Japan. But bear in mind that she'll be performing in Kuala Lumpur. And all the expenses to be borne and paid by us while during her stays in Kuala Lumpur. And she might extend a couple of days, whereas she was brought up in Malaysia. And we are prepared to borne whatever expenses, apart from expenses on this gala night.
Excuse me, how about you performing every more nights where you can raise more money so that our contract will be a successful one?
Well, in order to come up with a couple of other nights, and I'm afraid that this doesn't serve the purpose for the Perdana Gala night. Whereas in our country, Perdana means there's only one. If we're going to perform 2 or 3 nights, then this concept of Perdana Gala night will have to be changed totally.
Yeah, we understand that Perdana, but you can sort of adjust. Yes, the Perdana is the Perdana night, and then you organize something else apart from your Perdana night. Maybe you have a road show, whatever it is, pub show, and so on, in order to raise more money to cover others. And so
maybe I can add here. As far as City Hall is concerned, we are a government organization. The objective of our visit here, of our meeting here today, is more for the Perdana Gala night. If in the event Miss Matahari Ichikawa is also available to perform for other engagements in Malaysia, we have perhaps we could give you the name of the agents or people that you can contact and arrange with them as to how much you would want the fees to be. That would be more of a private concern. But as far as this is concerned, this is more of a charitable function, and it would be very appropriate because the cabinet members of the East Asia and Pacific region would be also present during this time.
What between 45 is?
Yeah, but you could get the because at first we did not mention this because we understand that Miss Matahari Ichikawa from Johor, that she is a very busy lady. So if she has the time to give other shows.
We put forward the suggestions just now for you all to work out in order to come up with the cover the expenses. So we put on the suggestion. And being in the City Hall, we were thinking that on your side you have more contact than us, and you know better than
we could,
on all the various report agencies.
We would be glad to assist you all in that sense, but at this very moment I cannot make any commitment to you.
Furthermore, add to it, we can even give special priority to any other contracts, another coming contracts, if your country wants her to perform.
I think the name Roppongi, if this deal is concluded, will be very much put on the high on the list by the Malaysian government for the very fact that such a famous personality like Miss Ichikawa is coming to Malaysia, and we from City Hall know that what we are actually paying is actually a small token only. So the government would definitely, as far as when there are any of your personalities who want to perform in Malaysia, I think there's a good chance that the government will give the green light anytime.
We in the Roppongi also, we are also scouting for new talents. And I understand in Malaysia you have many up and coming singers. We like to bring them to Japan, to expose them, in Japan, in hotels, even concerts. So maybe you can also suggest to us some names later on that we can bring to Japan.
Hi, that sounds more like it. You see, once Miss Ichikawa be in Kuala Lumpur, and she will be exposed again after 5 years. She has not appeared in any mass media, and there's no new album from her. So I think it's a good start for her again after a 5 years break. Furthermore, when she will be in Malaysia, she will be housed in one of the 5-star hotels in Kuala Lumpur, and hopefully that a slight arrangement can be made for a dinner show, or maybe on the second or the third night when she's in Kuala Lumpur. And maybe following to that, there are a few